Fuck you. AMC literally all day market maker fraud activity, 666 EMA resistance short exemptions and HFT algorithms according to Edward. So I've been following Edward a long time and he's been following the stock a long time and he has, according to his estimations, the 666 EMA. Every time it touches it, you see a major dump off. So I think
this is what I've been saying forever.
Their algorithm, right? They're going not with the 200 EMA, the 100, the 50, or any of these prevalent indicators. They're using the 666 apparently, and you know how they love that number, right? And as you can see here, he's highlighted in these boxes. Every time that it hits that trend line, the 666 EMA, the machine clicks on. Let's look at this one. Smackdown 14 times today. Every time it hit the 666 zone, right? WTF. I'm showing this so you guys can see how obvious this is. Kenny G and his buddies and their machines. 9 right here, as you can see. So again, every time it hits this yellow line, for some reason, their machine clicks and tries to keep it under. That's the number to look for. And here we are again. $6.16 at the yellow trend line. The machine clicks on, tanked all the way back down to $6. And then again, we keep buying and holding, obviously. And then right back to 610, eventually up to 614, again hitting the 666 EMA. And what do you know? The machine clicks on again. And then we buy again. And then what happens? 614, again hitting the 666, right back down. Right back down to these prevalent trend lines in clouds, right? So this is the mark to look for. Mark of the beast, if you will, 666. You know these motherfuckers love that number. That's the number that they sit in front of and blood sacrifice to, right? Now, here's the other lawsuit filed. I've heard a lot of whispers, rumblings. The lawsuit is fake. It's FUD. It's some fake, documentation, and that's proven to be false. It's real. It's actual. As you can see here, this is the Delaware Court website page, and we have USB, ALDO Munoz, etc. against Adam, Aaron, etc. That would be the board members. And here's the court address. And you could look into this yourself, Don't sit there and beg to be spoon-fed. So just go and search for yourself. Do your own due diligence. And Ethan, right here, this is his Twitter. You can follow him if you'd like. He posts good information. And thank you. I'm still in, a 45 fan. I placed a call to the Chancery Court in Delaware this morning to inquire about the 2 pending lawsuits against AMC and the board. If any ape wants to track said lawsuits, one will have to sign up to the following application, file and serve express. I've filed my application, so you can actually file an application for the documentation if you'd like, with the 2 pending lawsuits against AMC. So again, don't sit there and hope to be spoon-fed. You can actually get these documents for yourself. Now, AMC in high demand with Fidelity, this is the big story, right? At the end of the day, when we're talking about what's happening right now, right? Not 2 years ago, not last year, not last month. Right now, what's important is that apes, right, including myself, who have Fidelity and other brokerages, have been asked to lend their shares out. And obviously, we all took off, or at least I did. I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of you did as well. We turned off our fully paid lending program or share lending program in all of our brokerages a long time ago. That was something that apes did early because we didn't want them to have shares that they can borrow so they can short it, right? A lot of apes have been getting astronomical offers. Look at this interest rate, 95.750. You need a minimum of 25 grand to participate in terms of your portfolio. And this is the hypothetical monthly income for this particular user if they lend out their AMC shares. So this is really the big story. And I've been showing you the cost to borrow north of 600, 700, 800%. So the desperation and the danger is at all-time highs is the moral of the story, right? Just think about it. So of course, if the danger is at an all-time high for the shorts, then this is a time when the lies and the FUD and the manipulation and the psychological warfare, you name it, is going to be at its highest. And in my opinion, this is exactly why the reverse split and conversion is coming to play now, because somebody told Adam Aaron, listen, buddy, this is what you're going to have to do, so do it. Because they saw this coming, right? Because after 2-3 years of buying and holding, they realized these motherfuckers really are not going to sell, so what are we going to do? They've done many things, the FTX debacle being one of the recent ones, and obviously that was exposed, so they couldn't do that anymore. And then we saw the cost to borrow gradually and consistently skyrocket since then, and now again it's at a ridiculously all-time high. So they are pretty much screwed, as you can see from these numbers. Who pays 100% interest to borrow shares. Only somebody very desperate, right? Yes, that's what we like to see. You have no choice but to return those. I dare you to borrow them now. These are the shares being available to borrow. And the cost to borrow fee, you see 506 earlier today, 1.2 million available. And that's not a lot, in the grand scheme of things. So Murder AMC Ape says, loan your shares, lose your votes. That's why we aren't on margin. We on cash account. That's why we turned off share lending. That's why real apes are turning down that bullshit ass monthly payment for loaning your shares. F that. They want to end you long term. And I'm in the same boat, and I agree fully. That's why all of my share lending is off. All of my accounts are cash accounts, and they've been that way for years, specifically because I'm not going to be the one to give them shares to hurt me in the long run. But if you want to do it, that's your money. But real apes, I don't think they would do that. Check out TD Ameritrade, I believe this is, according to BAM Investor. These are the margin requirements, again, lending to the thesis that we're talking about here, right? 100% long, 400% short, naked options, 300% margin requirements. If you want to short, you need at least 400% collateral. So again, adding to our argument and our thesis. And now let's take a look at the actual Fidelity share lending program, right? This is the share lending program. You can Google it, Fidelity share lending, and this will come up, right? But what I wanted to show you about this, look at the example that they give you. They're showing a 5.75 annualized rate, and what they're offering for AMC is 95%. So that should tell you something, number one. Number two, check out the conditions. When deciding whether to participate in Fidelity's fully paid lending program, it is important that you are aware of these considerations. Once enrolled, if Fidelity borrows a security, the length of the loan and your ability to earn income will vary depending on short-selling demand and available lending supply. SIPC shares on loan are not covered under the SIPC protection. I believe all of our accounts are covered according to the SIPC up to $250,000 if I'm not mistaken. Look into it. But the shares on loan, if you lend out your shares, are not covered. So do keep that in mind. There are clauses in fine print that you should be aware of. So God forbid something happens while your shares are out on loan, then you are not insured up to $250K. Cash distributions paid on securities borrowed over the dividend record date are credited as a cash in lieu payment, which may have a different tax treatment. Voting rights, when you loan your shares, you relinquish voting rights. Interesting, right? Maybe that's why they want it. And Murder AMC Ape was right. Loan your shares, lose your votes. So do keep these things in mind. If you do indeed decide that you want to take the money and run, in the end, in my opinion, you're just hurting yourself. And obviously, you're hurting the community. So you do need to know the fine print. So again, Google it and look for yourself. And finally, Etan Leibowitz. Hey, Adam, are you going to produce that share count prior to the March 14th vote unless the TRO is granted? Or are you going to procure the vote by concealment rather than disclosure? How many shares are out in the wild? Why are we entertaining fraud? So as I've been saying from day one, before it was popular, right? Before it caught on like wildfire 2 years ago, this guy's a crook, he's a fake actor, he's a piece of shit. As soon as they did that deal with Mudrick, that's what I said. I may have jumped the gun, but nonetheless, I wasn't wrong, was I? All right, so quick question. Couldn't you have done a share count, share recall a long ass time ago and just addressed it and ended it right there? Whether you believed in it or not, that's up to you, your prerogative, right? I'm not going to tell you what to believe in, obviously, but couldn't you have addressed us, the shareholders who you called the owners of the company? What we really wanted was a share count from day one. So couldn't you have just done a share recall or share count 2 years ago when we asked you to and just put it to bed? Why didn't you do that? Simple question, right? This is not rocket science, guys. Don't get confused by all of the technicalities and mumbo jumbo and all of these things flying to you from all different directions. Just look at it very simply. A simple share recall or share count could have been done a long ass time ago, and he didn't even do that. Instead, he did what he did. I know you're concerned about the so-called synthetic shares, of which I see no evidence of, but I'll give you ape 1-to-1, and that should address it, right? All of these sideways type smoke and mirrors type things, which never really address